Mike's hot boots on the ground, troops coming heavy with the no-nonsense sound. Ain't no filters, we'd break the mold. Stories hidden, swept away, now they're getting told. Spotlights hit, the tension pops. We ain't here for nothing but the real damn drops. We're busting bubbles, taking names, cussing and discussing, changing the game. No smoke, no mirrors, no curtain calls. Piss on the fire and call the dogs. Steel chairs, court stairs, backstage heat. Legends fall when we bring that beat. Voices sharp, we cutting right through. Best damn team, yeah, you know it's true. We ain't your daddy's play-by-play. We call it raw, we're here to stay. From bell to bell, win or lost. Shoot, don't care who signs the checks or calls the boss. Putting out fires, taking names, cussing and discussing, fueling the flames. Standing tall when the last bell call. Piss on the fire and call the dogs.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us for this edition of Cussin Discussin. I am the Doctor of Professional Wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD. Alongside me, the Excellence of Elocution, Walter Dixon. Sir, I say it every week, but this has been a week.
It's been a week. This has been a bit of a crazy week, and right now, the level of craziness seems to be amped because of the heat.
It's been hotter than all sorts of get out. I'll tell you one that actually happened Sunday evening. Of course, I wasn't available Saturday. We'll talk about that later. Sunday, though, I decided I was going to go up to my trail camera and trim some trees back because my solar panel was not getting enough light, enough sun to keep it powered. So I grabbed my chainsaw that I bought this past January, and I head up to my trail camera. I pull the thing, get her started, and I'm laying these trees down. I cut two good ones about that big around, about 25 feet long, and the way they fall across the gas road. So I come off the hill where my blind is going to be at and come back down the gas road into the holler. Because I need to get down to these trees and clean them up so that the gas company or whoever can go on past. Well, I turn the chainsaw off because I'm going to get in my vehicle and do all this running, and I do. And I get down there to them trees, and I get the chainsaw out and pull the cord, and nothing. Whoom, 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 whoom. Prime it a little bit, pull the cord, nothing. All right, choke it, prime it, pull the cord, still nothing. It is so humid outside, so hot that saw will not cool off enough. So finally I set it down and wait 15 minutes. Let's try this again. Nothing. At this point, I am soaked in sweat. And I said, I'm getting my rear end in my truck. I'm going off this hill. I'm going back to the house. I'm going to rest. So I drive back to the house, stop at the building on my way in, get the chainsaw out, and I said, I'm going to try it just one more time. Pulled it, fired right up. But it had been inside my vehicle that was air conditioned and cooled off.
Gas had started turning to vapors, vapor locked.
It could not match the heat. And like I said, I was a sweating mess, and it's just humid out. It's not the heat, it's the humidity level. Well, it is the heat.
High, but the humidity makes it so much worse.
Right.
Because currently it was, well, I'll tell you what the heat was as of the last time my phone updated. It was 92 the thermometer on my vehicle said 100, even while moving.
Yeah, looking at this, it says 95, feels like 99.
Right,
So that was the last time my phone actually done anything amazing.
right.
But yeah, we've been dealing with a pure heat wave.
Yeah, and much love to our English neighbors, but England has been talking about, it's been all over the news in the UK that they're under a heat wave at 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 85 degrees.
Mm-hmm. I'd trade them 85
I'll
right now.
trade
any
that
day.
every single day of the week.
Let me explain something. The doctor of professional wrestling does not like heat.
No.
I like good, cool temperatures. 50 to 70 degrees is perfect for me.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to a co-worker in the courthouse where I work at, and he was telling me about when he was overseas in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we got over there, and it's hot.
Yeah.
You know, this is hot. 110, 120 degree days.
Right.
He said, and they handed me a coat
Yeah.
with a liner and said, take this. And he's like, it's 120 out here. I don't need it. You will need it.
Yeah. At night.
He said, at night it dropped down to 70 degrees.
Yeah.
He said, and we froze to death.
Yeah.
And you know, we think about, okay, 70 degrees is not that bad. No, going from 90 to 70 is not that bad.
Right.
But if you go from 110, 120 down to 70 degrees, that's 40 to 50 degree temperature variable.
Yeah.
And it'll get you.
Yeah. Now, I mean, personally, I don't mind it all the way down into the 20s. Even the teens don't bother me.
I can stand it. I mean,
But I'm a different breed.
I can throw a
apparently.
long sleeve shirt on and do just fine if I have to. Normally I don't. Normally you have to beat me to death in the winter to put a coat on.
Yeah. I don't even own a coat.
I've got one.
I mean, I have a couple of coats, but I've never bought one.
I've
They've all
got
been
one.
coats that have been given to me by places that I've worked or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
you know that's how I've got the big one that I've got right now was one of the peddlers, I like to call them, come around. They was showcasing their stuff, and they left like 6 or 8 different sizes, you know, to try out.
Yeah. And
of course, after about 4 months, call them. What do you want us to do? Just keep the things. You know, by the time we come back and get them, it's not worth our money.
Sprite tea.
Sprite tea again. Slim chicken, sweet tea. But anyway, I was joking with my boss. I said, you ought to get me one of them coats like you do the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
You want a coat? Well, I'm joking, but if you're serious.
If you're offering, yeah. Free's free.
And he goes back there in the office and comes out with one of them things and slings it to me. And, well, hell yes, I'll take it. Thank you. But anyway, let's get this party started.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about.
We do.
We got
You've
about 3
got,
pages
you've
of
got
it.
3 pages of stuff here, and well, I've got an extra.
Yeah, you got an extra. We'll get down to that. Want to start out actually by wishing somebody that we know a very happy birthday. Today is his birthday, and that being Ashland's own former Smoky Mountain Wrestling heavyweight champion, former Art of Grappling heavyweight champion, the legendary Bobby Blaze, blowing out candles today.
Yes. Not to mention, Bobby Blaze is a trainer for FTC Art of Grappling and has trained some of the most amazing talent, some of the top prime talent in independent wrestling today.
Indeed, he has the likes of Brox Boulder, Titan Troy, Sarah Bubbles, Jordan Carlisle. The list, we can sit here all night and name names, but yeah, Bobby
Caleb
Blaze,
Thorne.
Caleb Thorne,
Thorny.
Thorne A.
Throne A.
It's French.
Yeah.
Ain't it, Caleb? Sorry, man. But anyway, no, definitely happy birthday to
Yeah.
Bobby Blaze, brother. Can't wait to see you again. Had a great time seeing you at Hollers and Heroes Con down in Pikeville. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right off the rip,
Yeah.
Wrestling Society Network
I
Wrestler
know.
of the Week.
I'm tickled to death about this, and in so much, move the microphone out of the way here. I was wearing the shirt today. That's right, Wrestler of the Week, Betty D.
Betty D.
I wasn't surprised to see it.
Right.
I was happy to see it.
I mean, obviously, Betty D is one of the premier female talents on the independent scene today.
She whooped most men.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be realistic about it. She whooped most men. Betty D's carved out a place in independent professional wrestling as one of the most compelling forces in the sport. This week she earned top honors from Wrestling Society Network, and it's easy to see why. It really is. I remember the first time we saw her.
Yeah.
And that was at a show at Pike County Central High School, our alma mater. And, you know, you get a look at her and you're immediately drawn to the character. I hate to use the word character. The person, the
persona,
talent,
the persona,
talent,
yeah.
yes. And even more so, you're drawn to the person herself.
Yeah.
And she's a great person as far as that goes. True talent. She's coming off a string of standout performances, including a hard-fought tag team match, the aftermath, the title winning victory at OHW. Don't call it a comeback. Betty D has proven she is more than just a rising star. She is indeed a ring general, and there is no doubt in my mind in making that statement. Betty D, she brings a raw intensity that's impossible to ignore. I mean, her chemistry with her longtime rival, Emily Rose, those girls have had some of the top matches in Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky. I mean, this is something that has basically been a regional battle.
Yes, it has.
And produced some of the most talked about matches in wrestling. That and her alliance with the franchise players, it adds more to her arsenal. But this week's recognition is not just a nod to her win-loss record. It's a salute to her hustle, her heat, and her undeniable presence. If you're not watching Betty D right now, honestly, you don't want to be late to this party. Trust me. I know she's wrestling tomorrow night. We'll get to that down the line, but she, again, in a tag team match against Emily Rose, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know who Emily Rose's tag team partner is, but I believe Betty D is tagging with Reese Ramon. But that is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I may be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But anyway, yeah.
We spoke about Hollers and Heroes Con last week.
We did.
But we wanted to touch on it again.
Yeah.
We actually seen a picture today of the, shall we say, headliner of Hollers and Heroes Con.
He's big.
He's big.
He's the big name.
Yeah.
He is the big show, Paul
The big
White.
show, Paul White, sitting at his table with none other than UFC legend Matt Hughes
behind him. I don't know who the other two were.
There's a lady back here behind him. I'm not sure who
She's
that
wearing
was.
a Matt Hughes shirt, so I'm assuming either Matt Hughes' wife or
right.
You know, I don't know.
But laying on the table in front of the big show is a beanie that says, plain as day,
Elevate
Pro Wrestling,
and
taking wrestling to the next level.
You got to actually give the Big Show that beanie and actually have a conversation with him
Yeah.
about professional wrestling, Elevate Pro Wrestling, and what we do.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So, first of all, Big Show is a phenomenal person. Just to walk up and speak with him is an honor,
Yeah.
really. But above and beyond that, it is so nice to walk up to someone who is such a well-known individual and him be that open and cordial.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was genuine. It's not just because he was at a meet and greet and these are fans. And no,
This is what
he
he's
was
supposed to do.
He was
and-
having casual conversations with just about anyone who would walk around, come by even.
Right.
And the first thing he does when I hand him that beanie is he sticks his hand, which is the size of a catcher's mitt, inside the beanie, and he looks at me and he goes, "Man, that is going to be warm this winter." And I said, "Well, we had a couple of T-shirts left over at the table, but I was kind of figuring they probably weren't going to be your size. The beanie is kind of, universal, so to speak."
Yeah.
And we've seen you wear beanies. I mean, we've all seen Big Show in the big beanie with the bear on the front and
Yeah.
So we know he wears those, especially in colder months.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we see him wearing that beanie at some point in the future in public.
You never know when he's going to show up. And wearing. Got it.
So,
Bazinga.
to have someone of that caliber, of that magnitude, wearing a piece of our gear,
That's it.
piece of gear from Elevate Pro Wrestling.
And that picture is now on the Elevate Pro Wrestling website under the events category.
Mm-hmm.
Want to thank Joetta Holder with Shoot Life Photography for allowing us the opportunity to showcase that photo on our website. We appreciate you so very much.
Yes,
and
thank you very
again. We really do.
Now, in other news this week, we did mention last week that we had sad news.
Yeah.
And I have been given a letter directly from the desk of Dewey C. Moore.
It's also the letter that is on both the Elevate Pro Wrestling website and Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
He left.
He got a buddy.
And I have the regretful honor of reading this. So I will just dive right in. I don't know how else to do it. From the desk of Dewey C. Moore, President, Elevate Pro Wrestling, pinned 6/23/2025. There are moments in this business that leave even the most seasoned among us without words. What happened following Hollers and Heroes Con in Pikeville, Kentucky, was one of those moments. After the event ended, the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon, and the Doctor of Professional Wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD, were quietly approached by Elevate Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, the Appalachian Animal, Brutus. Still visibly burdened by the injury he suffered at Warzone in Oliver Springs, Tennessee, at the hands of the guiding light, Michael Gabriel, Brutus carried with him something heavier than the championship belt gripped in his hand, a silence that said more than any speech ever could. He offered the title to Blankenship. With it, he handed over a legacy forged in blood, grit, and deep, deep pride. When Doc asked, "Are you sure?" Brutus responded not with words, but with a solemn handshake to both men. Then with one last glance, he turned and walked back to his vehicle, alone, quiet, the weight of the moment trailing behind him like echoes in the hills. We do not know what Brutus' current mindset is. We do not know what lies ahead for him. As hard as it is to believe, We haven't even heard from his former manager, Mr. 5-Star Charlie Craig, nor from his current client and reigning Elevate Pro Wrestling Next Level champion, the Vision Xander Storm. Their silence only adds to the uncertainty of what lies ahead. What we do know is that Brutus gave everything to the fans, to Elevate Pro Wrestling, and to the very spirit of the sport that he holds dear. His strength never came from his size alone. It came from how fiercely he protected what he loved. And though we may not yet understand the full meaning of his gesture, we recognize its magnitude. In the coming days, I will be meeting with the Elevate Pro Wrestling Board of Directors to determine the proper course of action regarding the now vacant Elevate Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. It is our commitment to honor the title and everything that Brutus stood for as we carefully consider how best to crown a new heavyweight champion in the very near future. With profound respect, Dewey C. Moore, President, Elevate Pro Wrestling. Folks, if that doesn't bring you to tears,
It very nearly did.
I usually have a way with words, but there's nothing that can prepare you when you've watched an individual like the Appalachian Animal Brutus, who, regardless of his connection to Charlie Craig in the past and his tactics at that time, there was never any denying his talent.
No.
There was never any denying his love for the sport of wrestling. And there was never any denying his seat in Elevate Pro Wrestling. We knew from day one, regardless of what side of the fence Brutus was going to be on, he would always be in that title picture.
Yeah, indeed.
And when he shook the hand of Kerry Morton at Oliver Springs, Tennessee, and accepted that title after an incredibly hard-fought match, triple threat, where he got the pin over Big Grizzly Gunner Ray.
Yeah.
He essentially had kicked Charlie Craig to the curb.
Yeah.
And we knew then that we were seeing a new Brutus. And then Saturday before last,
In Oliver Springs, Tennessee.
when he handed you that title,
Well, no, Saturday before last in Pikeville, but
Right.
the injury in Oliver Springs.
Right.
Never mind. I'm
but
sorry.
we seen him, we've seen the injury, and we've mentioned it here
Right.
before, that originally there was a goose egg on his cheek. Just moments after the match, there was a goose egg about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bigger. And then within about 45 minutes, I seen him again, and that golf ball had turned into a softball. His eye was beginning to swell shut. We knew that it was a concerning injury. He had already said he was going to go to a medical facility and have it checked. Then we find out that his jaw was cracked, fractured, just under the eye socket, leading toward the nasal cavity. Luckily, toward the nasal cavity. If it had went up, it would have fractured the
orbital plate.
orbital floor,
Yeah,
and he could have lost his sight in that eye.
definitely.
So we knew that the injury was severe. We knew that it was going to take time to heal. We did not understand at that point until, as I said, this Saturday before last, the consequences of that injury.
We were with Brutus that whole day.
Yeah.
and saw him interact with the fans. We actually, after the convention, or after we left the convention, we went out to eat with him.
Yes.
And he seemed, as far as, you know,
He never mentioned it.
he never did. I know, looking back, you see telltale.
Yes, looking at hindsight's always 20/20.
Right.
So
You see things that, you know, he had something on his mind,
Right.
you know, and you think about things like that, but you just brush them off. All I know is, without Brutus, what lies ahead for that title belt?
yeah, and that's what Mr. Moore was alluding to.
Indeed, he even stated, you know, oddly, Charlie Craig has been quiet about this.
And
Dangerously
the
quiet.
silence coming from Charlie Craig,
Is almost as loud as Brutus handing me that belt.
right? You have to assume. By no means am I exaggerating this. You have to assume, Doc, that Charlie Craig is undoubtedly working some sort of plan. He is building a plan that could very well cause an uproar within Elevate Pro Wrestling and the wrestling community as a whole. Knowing Charlie Craig and knowing the mind he has for trouble,
Yeah, that's putting it mild.
he is for sure, he is planning something devious to get his hands on that Elevate Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship.
At all costs.
At any
At
cost.
all costs. I mean,
So
we can talk about a few possible scenarios that I can throw out, but he will do anything. You know,
I can't get the visage of Brutus handing that title over and going for a handshake with the
You
two
know,
of us. I
if
can't
you-
get that out of my head.
if you watch, when I shake his hand, I hold it.
Yeah,
I wanted him to make eye contact with me.
yeah.
I wanted to see what was going on. And I can't tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure, I'm positive that Brutus will. This is not the end of Brutus and Elevate Pro Wrestling by any means.
I don't think so at all.
This is undoubtedly Brutus realizing that the fans of Elevate Pro Wrestling deserve a champion who is going to be in the ring and active every show.
A true fighting champion.
And even if that means that the title ends up in the hands of Charlie Craig and his ilk,
God. I didn't want to go there.
but even if it means that, I think Brutus is content knowing that at least the title is on the card. It's there. It's going to be there.
Could it be possible for Charlie Craig to have both titles in his camp?
I see it as being very likely.
Somebody's got to stop it.
I don't know.
Somebody's got to put the brakes on him.
I don't know who could stop it. I do know this. If Charlie Craig ends up with both the heavyweight championship and the next level championship, they will essentially have a lock on those two titles.
Yeah.
Because they, meaning Zach Apollyon and Xander Storm, could flip those back and forth on a regular basis
You know,
just to keep someone else from getting their hands on them.
think about this.
But what I do see, Doc, is we, and I mean us, we have to make sure that those 3 men do not get their hands on all 4 straps. If we have to call in a favor from some big guns, if we have to call in a favor from outside influence, maybe
A big company.
someone incorporated, someone with enough power to do exactly that, stop them from gaining the Elevate Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships.
Yeah.
I know I speak for both of us when I say we're willing to make that call.
I'll tell you what, let's just go a step further. Never say never when it comes to these two either. You feel me?
Are you saying ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was?
You're damn right I am. If that's what it takes to get the job done. Whew.
Well,
Also, I want to take a moment to mention before we go much further that it was announced today on Facebook by his wife, Samantha, that Josh TKO Turner has been taken back to the hospital.
yes.
Health's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been doing some small appearances. I think so, judging by the pictures, but
Well, he hasn't been wrestling. We know that.
well, no, that's a given.
But I think he has been trying to do a little meet and greet scenarios where he's just trying to get back out there and make sure that the fans are seeing him, because all the fans of Josh Turner know he doesn't hide any of this from his fans. This is all on his Facebook. He's made the fans aware of his health situation, at least enough.
Yeah.
And any reasonable person is not going to expect him to put his entire life story out there and all of the background of his detriments right now. But he is back in the hospital, and I've heard that the doctors are working tirelessly to figure out a medication for him.
Yeah.
So we have to have faith that this is, this is going to turn around for him, and that the doctors will get this figured out. They will get it under control, and we will see Josh TKO Turner back in the ring, back on the big screen, and back in action very, very soon.
Absolutely. And big guy, if you are watching, we're praying for you. We sending some heavy prayers and well wishes and a whole lot of love your way, my friend. Are you ready?
Is it that time already?
It's already that time. We're going to have to get you started.
Let's go ahead.
I've got you a card. We're going to play a little bit of name that card, and I'm going to read the card to you. You are going to tell me the name. Here is the card. Lita and the Hardy Boys defeated TNA, Teston Albert, and Trish Stratus in a mixed tag match. Taz defeated Al Snow. Perry Saturn defeated Eddie Guerrero to win the WWF European Championship. The Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw, defeated Edge and Christian via disqualification. Edge and Christian retained the titles because of a DQ. In a steel cage match for the Intercontinental Championship, Val Venus successfully defended against Rikishi. The Undertaker defeated Kurt Angle. Triple H defeated Chris Jericho in a last man standing match. And for the WWF Championship, with a special stipulation, if The Rock was disqualified, he'd lose the title. He was disqualified, however, Commissioner Mick Foley restarted the match, leading to a rock bottom and a clean win. The Rock defeated Chris Benoit. There's your card.
This was 2000.
It was 2000. You are correct.
I was going to say 3, but okay.
I'll help you a little.
Yeah, 2000. I would have got there eventually. For some reason, I was thinking this was a little later. But, yeah. So, this was definitely not the Royal Rumble because we have watched that entirely too many times. I've seen entirely too many toes.
There's some things the animal shelter would have euthanized that we've seen on them things.
This was not an in your house.
I wouldn't go that far. I believe it actually was an in your house. It does
But it
not,
had a.
it does not style it as in your house
Right.
when I looked it up, but I do believe that it was.
Did this become a regular name for a pay-per-view?
No, in fact, it was the final edition.
The final time that this, so it's not one of the big 4.
Right.
What month did this take place?
July 23rd, 2000.
July 23rd, 2000. It was not a tribute to the Troops show.
Nope.
Is there? What does the title of this allude to?
Dice. You could also say that if you knew my condition midway through dinner on Saturday, I was also especially if you've seen them old fashions that I had, dear God.
Dice. As in dice?
As in dice. If my dice are rigged, they are.
Loaded. Fully loaded?
Fully loaded.
Yeah.
Fully loaded 2000. You are correct. It was the final year of Fully Loaded. Going forward, it would be known as Invasion the following year. 16,504 in attendance, Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. 420,000 pay-per-view buys. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good
that's
showing
not
during
bad for that era.
time of year.
Yeah.
WCW was falling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big names on that card.
Yeah.
And actually, I just ruined one of the trivia questions. Fully Loaded 2000 marked final edition of the pay-per-view under the name What Was the Replacement? Which event replaced Fully Loaded? Invasion. But it didn't ruin this one. Oh, no. During the hype leading up to Fully Loaded 2000, which future megastar was building momentum in promos and backstage segments but did not wrestle on the card at all?
Building momentum, promos and backstage segments. Future legend, did you say?
Future megastar.
Megastar. Okay.
You call him a legend.
Okay. And did not appear on the card. Let me have a minute to mull this over. So, by this point, Stone Cold was already a megastar.
You are correct. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the answer.
Oh, well.
That was during the time that the whole mysterious person hitting him who ended up being Rikishi.
Yeah, it was Rikishi.
Rikishi
I
done
did
it for The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was probably one of the worst possible ever storylines in professional wrestling.
It was pretty rough.
It was. Oh.
But we have some well geopolitical news.
You know, we talked about it a little bit. It leads into
wrestling.
wrestling, and normally we don't try to go out on the political end of the world because we just piss a lot of people off, and but do know this: no matter what side of the fence you're on, I think I can speak for you as well to say that you got a right to feel however you want to feel.
Oh yeah, I've always said it doesn't matter if I agree with you or disagree with you. I'll
defend your right
to defend your right to say what you want.
What you very well want to.
That doesn't change. It
No.
doesn't matter if you're on that side or dead in the middle. It doesn't matter.
You know, my great grandmother one time, she told, I asked her, I said, "What side of the road are you on?" She said, "Neither." She said, "Ain't no side of the road, right or
all the
left,
road.
or if you're in the middle."
Yep.
He said, "And by the way, the only thing I've ever seen in the middle of a road's a dead possum."
Yep.
And Granny was right. But with the things that are going on in the Middle East, the airstrikes between Israel and Iran, Iran had issued some threats against American interests in the region, which had prompted travel advisories from the United Kingdom and other nations regarding Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Airspace disruptions in Qatar temporarily shut down the
Qatar.
airspace. Qatar, Qatar, same thing. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Mater and Mater.
Which stranded some WWE production staff earlier in the week. They've since made it to Saudi Arabia, but it has caused a lot of logistical hiccups and headaches. Talent travel plans, WWE's flying talent directly into Riyadh in the middle of this week, probably today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Despite the unrest, WWE has not made any comments on any changes. Right now, it is pretty much business as usual.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a pretty brave individual, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see me flying over there to watch some wrestling.
Well, and
I mean,
here's the one saving grace, okay? The area in which WWE holds these events
it's in the capital, Saudi Arabia.
is very much, even though Saudi Arabia there's a great many areas in Saudi that you wouldn't want to visit.
Right.
The area in which they will travel to is a very posh sort of area.
Right. It's capital city.
And for the most part, now understandably there are a lot of folks who are less fortunate, but for the most part, the people in Riyadh, in that area, are very, very well off. They have a lot of political, economic, financial pull, power.
Yeah.
It would be one of the last places, I think
you're right.
that Iran or Israel would even consider
Taking a swing at it.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
So that is the saving grace there. I do believe that they will be safe once there.
Yeah.
It's getting there that is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I know as of last I've heard there is a ceasefire in effect.
Well, I mean, that's still a little up in the air, but
Yeah, but it's one of those things that, guys, let's just have some wrestling for a little bit.
yeah,
Come on.
let's
Come on. Sit down. We can all get together. We might disagree on what side of the table we're going to eat on.
yeah.
But there's wrestling involved. We can.
There's wrestling to be watched.
It's time to, even in professional wrestling, these folks out there that you don't like, but you still work with them.
Yeah,
So
Well-
it's time to.
we don't.
Well, no, we don't. And the hell we ever will.
Right.
That's a whole different story.
But it is a tremendous
Can I
card.
lob bombs at them?
We've made a few. I shouldn't have said that on the air.
We didn't say what we made.
No, I didn't. I alluded, though.
There you go, using one of them big words.
Anyway, WWE Night of Champions 2025 will take place this Saturday, June 28th, at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The match card looks like a tremendous card. I'm going to start from the bottom up here because I think that's kind of the way
Yes,
it's
I
gonna
would.
unfold. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. This is a long, simmering feud that's finally boiled over, and we will get to see these two one-on-one in singles competition. We have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, another long, simmering feud. This is a street fight. It is a grudge match with no rules and extra chaos.
Let's hold up there for just a minute. It is well known that Saudi Arabia is a very conservative country.
Yes. To say the least.
When the ladies go over and wrestle, they are in full body suits.
Yes.
I mean, all you can see
they
is from
expose
about,
very little skin.
about right here up, and maybe their hands.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. God forbid a woman show her ankles in Saudi Arabia.
But a street fight?
Yes.
Are they really going to let this happen? I'm kind of interested in watching this.
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
I'm definitely
PLE.
interested. Then we have the King of the Ring final between two men who have a legacy with one another.
They do.
Randy
Indeed.
Orton versus Cody Rhodes for King of the Ring. Legacy explodes as two former allies battle for a world title opportunity.
Will it be the
Then-
Viper? Will it be the American Nightmare? Who walks out of it?
Will the student become the teacher? Or is the master still the master?
It's hard to pick a winner.
It really is. And I'm a huge fan of both of these.
I am
gentlemen.
too.
So,
I really like both. I like Randy Orton. I like Cody Rhodes. They have a similar style to a degree.
yeah. Yeah.
Randy with the RKO, Cody with the Cody Cutter.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
They both do one of the most beautiful power slams. I think Randy's is almost unmatched.
There's only one person I know with
The way he lays, he almost lays back like he's going under a daggone
limbo stick.
limbo stick to catch and rotate through. It is phenomenal to watch. But Cody is right there on his heels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're evenly matched in this, and honestly, I think it's going to be a good one.
Moving on to the Queen of the Ring finals, winner earns a women's title shot at SummerSlam. We get to see a returning Asuka
Oscar.
versus Jade Cargill, who has come a long way since the days of AEW.
Indeed, she has. I mean, Jade Cargill making a name for herself in WWE.
I personally am a big fan of Asuka.
I like Asuka. I really do. I think she's a great athlete. I think she's a tremendous talent.
I think Jade Cargill could have her number this time.
It very well possibly could be. Only time will tell.
And then we have the United States Championship on the line between two former Bloodline allies as they collide in a brutal SmackDown, that being Jacob Fatu, who is the current U.S. champion, versus Solo Sikoa. And this is, this is Family Feud.
It really and honestly is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I hate to say it, but it's Bloodline versus Bloodline all over again.
Yeah.
And will
And
Solo Sikoa pick up the U.S. Championship?
could he pick up the U.S. Championship, or will Jacob Fatu retain? And then we move into what I have to assume will be the main event that night. John Cena, the current undisputed WWE Champion, takes on his longtime rival, CM Punk, in what could possibly be the final clash between these two legends of the squared circle.
Absolutely. I mean, that is going to be a barn burner. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Look,
granted,
these two
neither
have-
one of them are either in their prime
No,
anymore.
but these two have always brought out the best in each other. They really have.
We can go back to Elimination Chamber where
Yes.
they really made each other look very well.
Mm-hmm. And if it hadn't been for Seth Rollins at Elimination Chamber, who knows what the outcome of that would have been.
Seth Rollins is always throwing a monkey wrench in something.
And you have to take into consideration that Seth Rollins is currently holding Money in the Bank.
And we know what that implies. He could cash that in for an opportunity basically at any title. But, yeah, it might be prime time to cash in.
Yep. So,
In Riyadh.
I mean, again, this is this
He's
Saturday.
not on the card.
No, he's not on the card, but will he be there? And folks, if you haven't seen John Cena's rendition of the pipe bomb, you're missing out on what could be one of the most fiery promos in history.
It very well could. It ranks right up there with the pipe bomb that CM Punk cut.
Yeah, John Cena went as far as to call Punk Mr. TKO. He gave a shout out to 3 individuals who are no longer with the WWE. Not only shout outs, used their official names.
Yeah.
In the middle of a WWE broadcast, 3 individuals who have nothing to do with WWE are actually, at least one of which is currently working for the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it was fire.
It was definitely. I mean, he let it all hang out.
But again, that is this Saturday, June 28th. It will take place in Kingdom Arena, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And you can watch it just like we will this Saturday, live on Peacock.
What time is that going to start?
I do not know. I would say it'll be around 1 o'clock or something. It being over there.
That is true. We may have to reevaluate something that we have coming up this weekend then.
Yeah, possibly coming up this weekend.
We'll talk about that later on,
Yeah.
too. Do you want to go ahead and take a break, or do you want to come back, or do you want to just go on in?
We can go ahead. We can go ahead and hit this. We can run through that pretty quick.
All right. This week in wrestling. June 18th, WWE Evolve, Orlando, Florida. Natalya and Callie Armstrong defeated Zeta Steel and Nikita Lyons. Marcus Mathers beat Jordan Oasis. The Vanity Project, Brad Baylor, Bryce Donovan, and Ricky Smokes won a gauntlet match over Sean Legacy. On the June 20th, WWE SmackDown, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Randy Orton defeated Sami Zayn to advance to the King of the Ring finals, or
Finals. Yeah.
Yeah, I said it right. Asuka beat Alexa Bliss to advance to the Queen of the Ring finals. R-Truth defeated John Cena via disqualification. I'm beginning to see it. I am beginning to see it. These people are pulling for it. It's actually being talked about now in some of the bigger circles of professional wrestling.
Yep.
Is it time to put the belt on Ron Killings?
March 4th, 2025, I made that prediction.
You indeed did.
And nobody took me seriously. That being, well, you might have.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, I would love to see it.
But no one that I said that to took me seriously. I had people say, oh, that would be cool, but it's never going to happen.
It's
And
close.
I had people physically laugh in my face, and I stand by it. I will stand by it until John Cena and R-Truth are both gone from the WWE. R-Truth will dethrone John Cena, bringing him back to the light side, back to classic superhero-esque John Cena, so that he can end his career on that high note.
Could very well happen. Could very well happen. Then CM Punk brawled with Cena in a post-match, cutting that pipe bomb promo that you alluded to earlier.
Yes.
Oh,
June.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
June 23rd, Raw, Columbus, Ohio. We seen Braun Breaker defeat Penta. Jade Cargill beat Roxanne Perez to advance to the Queen of the Ring final. Becky Lynch retained her title versus Bayley in a DQ. Cody Rhodes defeated Jey Uso to advance to the King of the Ring final. And that was actually a really good match.
Yeah.
Both men laying it all out there. And it wasn't a spear fest. It wasn't a super kick fest. It wasn't a cutter fest. All of those things occurred.
It was a wrestling match.
But it was a wrestling match. It was true to form wrestling. Then we move on to June 24th, NXT. We seen Trick Williams retain the TNA World Title versus Josh Briggs. Channing Stax Lorenzo won the NXT Heritage Cup versus Tony D'Angelo. And Lash Legend won a fatal four-way to become the #1 contender.
Nice. Very nice. Go ahead and take us through AEW.
AEW, June 18th, Dynamite, Grand Slam Mexico in Arena, Mexico. Mercedes Moné defeated Zeus. I don't know how you say that.
I don't know.
The CMLL women's title, obviously going to Mercedes Moné.
Yes.
Mystico beat MJF via disqualification. Kazuchika Okada defeated Mark Briscoe. In a 14-man tag match, Bandito, Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia, Brody King, Templario, and Atlantis Jr. defeated Takashita, Fletcher, Josh Alexander, Hechicero, Dax Harwood, and Volador Jr. Then later on June 20th at Rampage, taped in Mexico City, John Moxley defeated AR Fox. Swerve Strickland beat Shane Taylor. FTR, Takashita, and Kyle Fletcher defeated Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Daniel Garcia. Athena, Thekla, Megan Bain, and Penelope Ford won an 8-woman tag
Yeah, won the 8-woman tag. You're right.
Won the 8-woman tag. And then Tony Storm cut a promo targeting Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné has a lot of gold. I'm not a big Mercedes Moné fan, neither are you. Not a huge Tony Storm fan either. I think it's overdone.
Well, at this point it is. I was a fan, but now it's it's winding down.
It's run its course.
Yeah.
But no, then with the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA Crockett Cup 2025 taped in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Brian Idle defeated Carson Drake to become the new NWA television champion. Natalia Markova beat Kylie Page in a no limits match. TVMA, Tiffany Neves and Valentina Rossi defeated the Island Twins. Wrecking Ball Legursky beat Jay Bradley in a chain match. Mims retained the national championship versus Max the Impaler. Silas Mason defeated Alex Hammerstone. Kenzie Page retained the NWA women's title against Natalia. Tom Latimer retained the NWA World Heavyweight title versus Rhino and Kobe Carino. And the Immortals, Kratos and Odinson defeated Odinson,
Yeah.
same thing.
Kratos and Odinson.
Defeated the Colognes in the Crockett Cup finals. Pretty good stuff coming out of them places.
Yeah,
I mean, NWA's coming back.
The NWA is making a huge return.
Natalia making her presence on an NWA, and she is still with WWE.
Yeah, Natty is I've always said she's one of the best women talents
She
to
is.
come out of WWE. Even when the quote-unquote women's revolution started, I think Natty was still one of the best women's talents on the roster, and she's an organic talent that come through WWE. She's not a pickup from another promotion or
she
whatever.
isn't.
But Natty comes from, obviously, the Neidhart family, who,
Well,
Brett is her uncle.
Her father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, her uncle, Brett the Hitman Hart, her
Yeah.
grandfather, Stu Hart.
Yeah. So she is well trained. She's well versed in everything inside that ring.
Bloodline is there.
Yeah. And look, the song says it. There's more than one bloodline in professional wrestling.
What song's that?
That'd be the intro for Cody Rhodes.
Oh, I never listened to the words. God, y'all gotta love me.
And of course, the Harts are a huge royal family. That's actually what the song says. Is there's more than one royal family in professional wrestling. But,
Hearts is royal. No, never mind.
let me tell you something about Bill Goldberg.
No, I'm not gonna go there.
Anyway.
I was gonna revisit the Johnny Cash movie Walk the Line.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in the commercial. Do want to mention, guys, if you haven't had a chance, check us out. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on RSS.com. Basically, all major podcasting platforms. Cussin and Discussin is available. There is no reason that you all are not enjoying this as much as we are.
Yeah.
And we bring this to you every
Weekly.
week,
Yep.
as often as possible. And hey, you never know. I think I'm ready for break now.
Yeah, I think it's time for a break.
Break time? No, I'm just kidding. We will be right back here in just a moment with more Cussin and Discussin. Y'all stay tuned. All right, people, we are back for more Cussin and Discussin, and I turned my pager on.
Yeah, and you are on call, Doc. Mm-hmm. So let me get situated here.
Last week, I blew it out of the water on what, the first question?
First question.
God. That question always gives me a good shot, and I'm
Yeah.
going to try it one more time. Where's this person billed from?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, dear God. Andy Taylor.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't from Raleigh. He was from Mayberry of Raleigh. Who trained this person?
I do not have a specific answer on that. I will say this.
Okay.
Early in his career, he was floating around independent promotions, and may have picked up quite a bit of training from the Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts, Omega.
What era was this person at their high?
2000s.
Give me title history.
Carolina Championship Wrestling Alliance, CCWA, light heavyweight champion 2 times. Carolina Wrestling Federation Mid-Atlantic, CWF Mid-Atlantic Television Champion 1 time.
Time. Ink pen died.
Ink pen died. That's why I use a pencil.
That's what the Russians did.
Yeah. NASA spent billions trying to design a pen that would write in 0 gravity. The Russians just used a pencil.
I guess 25 cents. They had it whooped. CWF Mid-Atlantic.
CWF Mid-Atlantic Television Champion. Coastal Championship Wrestling, CCW Tag Team Champion 1 time. Empire State Wrestling, ESW Tag Team Champion 1 time. New Dimension Wrestling, NDW Tag Team Champion 1 time. North American Pro Wrestling, Light Heavyweight Champion 1 time. NWA Wildside, NWA Wildside Tag Team Champion 1 time. Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts, Omega Tag Team Champion 2 times. PWI ranked him number 21 of the 500 best singles wrestlers in 2003. He earned the PWI International Heavyweight Championship 2 times. Southern Championship Wrestling, SCW Heavyweight Champion 1 time. SCW Tag Team Champion 1 time. Southern Wrestling Alliance, SWA Light Heavyweight Champion 1 time. Texas Championship Wrestling, TCW Texas Tag Team Champion 1 time. World Championship Wrestling, WCW Hardcore Champion 1 time. WCW Cruiserweight Champion 1 time. Wrestling for a Cause, WFC Tag Team Champion 1 time. World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment, WWF Cruiserweight Champion 2 times. WWF European Champion 1 time. WWF Hardcore Champion 1 time. And WWF World Tag Team Champion 2 times. World Wrestling Organization, WWO, he earned the Light Heavyweight Championship 1 time. And Wrestling Observer Newsletter gave this person Best Gimmick in 2001. He also had a single match. A single match for Lucha de Apuesta in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at ECW on Sci-Fi, November 17th, 2009. I had to throw a wrench in it.
I'm gonna take a swing, and you tell me if I can crack her out of the park.
Okay.
Billy Kidman.
No, but you're kind of not far off.
Oh, not Kidman. Cruiserweight champion in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Hardcore champion in WCW. There wasn't very many hardcore champions in WCW.
Nope. You do know who Omega was founded by, right?
No.
Omega, the Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts, was founded by the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Like I said, he probably picked up a lot of training there. Probably picked up a little bit of training at the power plant his time in WCW.
It's not Bill Goldberg.
No. Let me tell you something about Bill Goldberg.
Was he with Matt Hardy during the version 1 year?
No, I don't think so, no.
So, not V1. What was his biggest match?
I would say his biggest match probably would have been winning the Cruiserweight Championship, or maybe his first run as WWE Tag Team Champion. He did have a feud with The Rock, though. I guess he figured if Brendan Fraser could beat The Rock, anybody could beat The Rock.
Is he alive or dead?
Oh, he's alive, very much.
When was his last official wrestling match?
Let's see. His last official match was probably his surprise entrance to the 2021 Royal Rumble.
I'm going to try it one more time.
Okay.
Is there a hurricane coming through?
There is a hurricane coming through.
Shane Helms, a hurricane.
Shane Helms, that is correct. Gregory Shane Helms, born July 12th, 1974. He's 50 years old, born Smithfield, North Carolina. He's went by Gregory Haynes, Gregory Helms, Gregory Shane Helms, the Hurricane, Hurricane Helms, Shane Helms, Sugar Shane Helms.
That was when he was 3 count.
Yes. Actually, his win of the WCW Hardcore Championship was essentially 3 count won the Hardcore Championship.
Yeah.
So it was a shared thing at that moment.
They freebirded it.
He was okay. Let's go do a title run, a little question and answer.
Okay.
ESW Tag Team Champion one time. Any ideas with who?
ESW Tag Team Champion Shannon Moore.
Johnny Adams. New Dimension Wrestling Tag Team Champion one time with
No idea.
Mike Maverick.
Wouldn't know him if I saw him.
NWA Wildside Tag Team Championship one time.
No clue.
Shannon Moore.
Shannon Moore.
Omega Tag Team Champion 2 times.
Shannon Moore.
Both times with Mike Maverick. SCW Tag Team Champion one time.
Mike Maverick.
Mike Maverick. Texas Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champion one time.
Mike Maverick.
Lenny Lane.
Lenny Lane.
Wrestling for a Cause WFC Tag Team Champion one time.
No idea.
Kryptonite. Because Kryptonite don't bother the Hurricane.
No,
it's only a
Superman.
weakness for Superman. WWF World Tag Team Champion 2 times. 2 different partners.
Rosie
Yes.
and Kane.
Kane, that is correct.
They were Hurricane.
Hurricane, yep.
Yeah.
And what was Rosie's name?
I know this. Rosie was the shit. A superhero in training.
Yes, he was. They were accompanied at one point by a valet. Rosie and Shane were accompanied by a valet. Who was it?
The lovely, mighty Molly Holly.
There's another.
Mae Young?
No.
I don't know.
She was super.
Who?
Their valet. Longest legs you ever did see.
But Stacy Keebler.
Super Stacy Keebler. Yeah. What does Shane Helms do currently?
He is a producer for WWE.
That is correct. He is currently a producer for WWE.
Actually active on Facebook. I
Yep.
follow him on Facebook. That's another. If he wasn't working for WWE, I'd almost suggest Earl to get him to.
Just after, let me make sure here. Yep. So he appeared in the 2021. Excuse me. His last appearance on Raw was at the Raw reunion episode of Monday Night Raw, April 15th, 2020. After that, he was furloughed by WWE. On November 7th of 2020, where did he appear in the wrestling world?
NWA?
No.
What AEW was it?
It was.
Was it AEW?
He appeared in All Elite Wrestling November 7th, 2020 during the Elite Deletion match as both the Hurricane and as ringside reporter Gregory Helms in a supporting effort for Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara. That was on November 7th. On November 22nd, he returned to WWE, then made his appearance in 2021 at the Royal Rumble, January 31st. He entered at number 23 and was very quickly eliminated by two individuals who would go on to both be, well, one had already been WWE champion. One would go on to become WWE champion rather recently in the grand scheme of things. Two individuals who held the WWE title or world title. I'm clipping them both into the same category here. And they are both no longer, one of them is with WWE, one of them is no longer with WWE, and only one of them is active in the ring.
Kane and Roman Reigns.
No. There's something special about these two individuals. Their heavyweight championship reigns are listed among a very, very small number of people who fill this category. Triple H gets a lot of backlash for this.
Big E and who was the other one?
You are on the right track. One of them was Big E.
I don't know who the other one would have been.
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley. Okay.
Big E and Bobby Lashley, both on a very short list of African American heavyweight champions in WWE. Look, in the grand scheme of things, it's a very short list.
It is. But
I'm not saying that Triple H is
don't
racist. I
think
do
it
not
has
believe
ever
that
been.
at all. But it is a very short list, and Vince McMahon may very well have been a little bit racist.
I don't think he was.
I'm just
honestly-
saying. I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying he might have been. Don't know.
As much of things as I could say that Vince McMahon was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you call him a low-life son of a bitch and hit him right on the head.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I just don't see him as a racist person.
I don't want to think he is, but at the same time, there was a tremendous amount of African American talent that came through the WWF during his tenure that could have and should have held championship gold, major championship gold, that never really got there. Now, is that a fault of their own, or is that Vince McMahon being racist? I am not here to make that determination. I'm only saying I kind of see where people are coming from.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, you could see where the argument would be
Right.
made.
That's
I mean,
all I'm
there's
saying.
no doubt.
But also, I do not think Triple H is racist
I don't think
by
Triple
any
H
means.
is, no.
I don't think that at all. Triple H has been, Paul Levesque has been a man to sing the praises of anyone in the wrestling world who was a true professional, was a true student of the sport, and was willing to do what it took to get to the top. Always has been.
Yeah.
He's done made tremendous strides with a lot of people in NXT, his time running NXT.
He has.
And I don't think he has ever quite been given full control of the reins in WWE, the main shows.
I don't think he will
Raw
either.
and SmackDown.
TKO is looking at WWE as a money-making machine.
Right.
I think once WWE doesn't make money, they'll sell it.
Yes.
Much like Time Warner did with WCW.
Yes.
Once it's no longer profitable, it's not like a family-run wrestling business now.
Yes.
It's a business corporation.
I've got a blister on my thumb here where I burned it on a car earlier.
Uh-oh.
But
Got blisters on your fingers?
got blisters on my fingers. Anyway, for those of you that don't know where that come from, just
Look it up.
Google that. That's hilarious.
Said her name was Phoebe.
Mimi. Yeah,
But she sounded like an angel come to earth.
she did.
Anyway,
Look at some of the names that have come through WWE that Vince McMahon could have put a world title, heavyweight title on, and didn't. JYD
yeah, come straight out of Mid-South and
was champion.
basically screwed Bill Watts over.
Yeah, he did.
To go to WWF.
Go to WWF. And
for nothing.
he ended up being mid-card fodder.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
seriously
he was
did nothing.
one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah,
Of all time. Junkyard Dog is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. There was nothing flashy or fancy about anything he done in the ring.
Right.
But he was phenomenally fun to watch.
Butch Reed
Butch Reed.
was another top of the line star in Mid-South.
Yep.
And that's the one thing everybody talks about Bill Watts being a racist. Yes, he made some very deplorable statements, and there's no way in this world that I condone that.
No.
But his booker was an African American, and he had not only his booker as a major star in I lose his name, Ernie the Big Cat Ladd.
Yeah, Ernie Ladd.
But he had JYD, and he had Butch Reed. So
But look at back to the WWF list.
Right.
There's a big list there. Ron Simmons
could have very well been world champion.
obviously could have been world champion. He was
He
world
was
champion
WCW
elsewhere.
champion.
So
He was the first African American WCW champion.
could have had it on either one of those two. There was a time when there was a big push for Mabel.
Maybe,
Going into King of the Ring, and nothing ever came of it. Why? Don't know.
You had the run with Papa Shango and the Ultimate Warrior.
Yep. Well, look at not just Papa Shango. I mean, look at every gimmick.
Well, in fairness, the Godfather did see championship gold.
Yeah, not major champion.
No, well, he was Intercontinental champion.
Right. That's a minor title.
Yes,
I mean,
but I mean,
for all intents and purposes, it's a
It is.
mid-card title.
but anything that
But well, look at Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Man was white.
I'm not talking about his race. I'm talking about his run with the Intercontinental Championship.
Ah,
Honky Tonk Man, looking back at his work, he was more than capable of playing a heel champion in the major
He would have made a good transitional champion.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
And definitely a transitional champion, because we've talked about this before. WWF has always made a point to keep the title on a babyface. Transitional champions have always been heel, which is the exact opposite of the way the NWA worked, which is keep it on the heel and make the baby the transitional champion. But the rundown, the list of black or African American stars that have been in WWF is a long list, and there's only 4 or 5 that have ever held the world title, that have ever held major gold.
You got
I think it's 5.
Rock.
Which is half.
Well, yes,
He's
but I mean,
Samoan and
he's
black.
he's minority either way you cut
Right,
it.
he is.
Then you have Bobby Lashley held it.
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi,
Big E.
Big E.
There's another, and I'm missing it. I swear there's 4, possibly 5.
Well, that's 4 right there.
Booker T.
Booker T. Has there? I'm trying to think. Well, yeah, we've named a couple of them that could have. But during the time you had Ron Simmons in there, you had Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels
Right.
feuding the title.
Right. And that seems to be a very very staunch case against Vince being racist. Is look at who they were having to compete against.
Yeah.
You have absolute Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers
Right.
that were in there at the same time. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And yet Rock held the title during Stone Cold's era.
He did.
So,
But Rock was one of those that I remember the first time I seen him as Rocky Maivia.
yeah,
And I was thinking, dear God, this is not going to work. There's
horrible.
no way.
Horrible.
The frilly thing
The
that he
Islander
was
thing.
wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I know he was trying to pay homage to his grandfather, you know.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out that way. And, you know, you take him as The Rock, who phenomenal on the microphone, phenomenal in-ring worker. They put the belt on him.
Well, I mean, all of that was unknown at the time that he started. But a lot of folks that are in the know on that, they look at The Rock's first match and they think, this kid's probably got something.
You know, you talk about the unknowns of life, though. But I know one thing.
What?
I know how to count to 3.
Yeah.
You know how to count to 3. I mean, 1, 2, 3. It's not hard.
1, 2. Wait.
That's 2. But it
3.
yeah.
I can do it too now. 1, 2, 3.
We can count to 3.
I like 2 better.
2 is better. 2 is better than 1.
Yeah.
1 and 1 are 2.
1 and 1 is 2. But now that's racist now. 2 and 2 ain't always 4. It could be 5.
It can't be 5. You can't. I can make numbers do a whole lot of things in this
I
world.
know what that white woman said on CNN that night, and she said that 2 and 2 might not be 4 because 4 is racist. Well, 2 and 2 equaling 4 is racist.
How is?
But I'm here to tell you right now that 2 and 2 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
4. I'll be damned. Oh, Lord. You know, I also want to say big get well soon to referee Josh.
Yes.
He is convalescing in the hospital right now. I think he's going into surgery tomorrow.
Have a kidney stone removed, I believe.
That's what the referee told me was going on. And, brother, we praying for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a tough lick.
God love your heart is all I can say. I
Yeah.
hope they're taking care of you. If you get to watch this, get well soon. We need you back in the ring counting pinfalls. God knows we can't outsource a referee job much.
No, we have had to scratch the barrel once or twice for a referee, but we've always made it through, and we always leave the show thinking, wish Josh would have been here.
That's it. That's it. And I mean, when he's not there, it's definitely, you can tell the
Yeah.
laughter is down.
Yeah. All I know is
I will never forget Professor Bear's wife down there.
poking him with her foot after he got knocked out in that match, that Iron Man match for the next level championship.
Yeah.
He got knocked out cold, and she was poking him with her
Get up,
foot.
you
saying,
gotta count the pin."
Get up, boy, get up. You got to count that pin. Get up.
He wasn't moving though.
He wasn't moving. He was
He's
out cold.
He was out like a light.
Anyway, Doc, we
Oh.
have a few coming events to talk about.
I had a coming event this last weekend.
Yeah?
I did. I went down to Ashland, Kentucky. I told you.
Yeah.
Doc was getting out of the house.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I went,
Yeah.
had a great time.
Yeah.
Wonderful evening.
Yeah. With wonderful people?
Wonderful person.
Oh, okay.
Name ain't leaving the bubble, I'll tell you that right now. But point of the matter is went to Cheddar's.
Yeah.
Doc loves Cheddar's. It is what it is. And I get there, and I'm waiting on this person to show up because she has a little bit of a drive from,
Yeah.
a little bit more of a drive for me, but I've always said 2 hours, Dr. Professional Wrestling is fine.
A wise man once sat on a bench inside a mall and told Brad Paisley he was waiting on a woman.
I can't watch that song without tearing up, especially that damn video.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There's something about Andy Griffith in a white suit that just
God love
it
Andy
touches
Griffith.
my heart. But anyway, I get there and waiting for this person to show
If
up.
anybody, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to say this.
Go ahead.
If anybody ever tries to tell me that Andy Griffith, Sheriff Andy Taylor, Ben Matlock, ever done anything like what they said Bill Cosby done, I'm going to punch them right in the mouth.
You heard it from him. He'll do it. He's crazy enough, I promise. And put some respect on that name, I'll tell you.
Put some respect on Andy's name.
That's a fact. Hey, but anyway, I get there. And I'll use this for demonstration purposes. I was waiting and was told, go ahead and get you something to drink. Be there in,
Yeah.
a little bit. All right. I want me an unsweet tea with lemon and an old fashioned. And I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of what I normally get right here. The unsweet tea with lemon and an old fashioned. So I'm waiting. Waitress brings me my unsweet tea with lemon, regular size. I'll go back to the bar, see if your old fashioned's ready. Thank you very much. God bless you. She goes back and comes back out with a glass. Let's say this was my unsweet tea with lemon. The old-fashioned glass would have been that much shorter than the unsweet tea with lemon glass. Mm-hmm. And it was full. And I'm sitting here, and here's a picture of it right here, side by side. And I'm sitting here going, And she looks at me and says, "Is there something wrong?" I said, "Oh, no, ain't nothing wrong at all." She said, "You ain't even tried it." So I did, and it was wonderful. Needless to say, my guest finally shows up, and we have a great evening. We're talking, having a good time, sharing stories, you know, just basic small talk that makes life go by, and, you know, two people getting to know each other.
Right.
So I'm done with this thing. And the waitress comes back by, and she looks down and sees the glasses empty. And she said, "Would you like another one?" Well, okay. I've done finished one of these things.
Probably 3, maybe 4 shots of liquor in it.
It's about the equal of 4 old fashions. And I look at my friend and she, go ahead, you can handle another one. I'm like, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I'm sitting there thinking, if that first one was that big, I want to see if the bartender made a mistake. Now, this wasn't, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So I tell the waitress, "Go ahead, get me another one, bring it back out here." Waitress goes back, comes back out a few minutes later. She's got another one of them big honking glasses, plumb full to the top. At this point, I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. This can't be a mistake. So I told my friend, I'm going to excuse myself and go to the little boy's room. I know the little boy's room is right off the bar. I'm going to walk past the bar to see if it's a normal bartender. It was not the normal bartender. And I just hope that feller's got a job right now.
Well,
he made friends, I'll say that.
He doubled up on those.
Doubled?
Yeah.
Dear God.
At least doubled.
At least, if not more. Probably tripled. I mean, dear God Almighty. Needless to say, 2 of those was all I could handle.
And that is why the doc said earlier, think of dice and think of what I was about halfway through my Saturday.
I was pretty well fully loaded. I'm not going to lie to anybody.
Yeah.
Needless to say, in all honesty, I do not drink and drive. I do not believe in drinking and driving. So I spent quite a bit of time at Cheddar's till I was well
nursing an unsweet tea with lemon.
Nursing a couple more unsweet teas with lemon, trying to get myself back in fighting shape to where I could travel back to Pikeville, Kentucky. But I did. I had a wonderful time. Who knows?
Well, maybe you can do it again.
Doc would definitely like to run that one back one more time.
Maybe we should call. I can't think of the TV, the radio program now. What is it?
It's one of them.
Brook and Jubal in the morning. They do.
Wait a minute, Brook and Jubal.
Yeah, Brook and Jubal in the morning.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Which one of them two is Brook, and which one of them two is Jubal?
The guy is Jubal. The woman's Brook.
Well, I get that, but I'm asking you, of the two, which one of them is Brook, and which one of them is Jubal?
I don't know.
It's a little short, thin one, Jubal.
Maybe. Yeah. I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
We'll talk about that one too after the show's over.
They have a segment on their radio show that they call Second Date Update.
Uh-huh.
And what you do is you email them about your first date and the fact that your date is not responding back the way you would appreciate. and they will call the date for you and ask them why you ain't calling them back. And it ends up being a hilarious segment on their radio show because a lot of people will say things on the air that you would not expect them to say. Well, I didn't call them back because there was one guy said he refused to call this woman back because while he had his date, they went back to her place, were sitting on the couch watching TV, and her little rat terrier dog comes in and starts humping his leg, and she shoos it off, and then it comes back and starts humping her leg, and she let the dog finish because she said, if I don't let him finish, he's just going to keep coming back and bothering us.
That's not even PG.
It's not. There was another one where no, I'm not going. I'm not going.
After the show,
let's go ahead with the coming events. How about that? Let's go ahead with the coming.
We need to, God.
Anyway,
we get on some of this shit. We don't.
Yeah. June 26th.
And you people wonder, I mean, dear God, y'all are missing out.
Yeah, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes is just as good or better than what comes on this show.
We are definitely going to start recording.
Yeah.
Some of these conversations we may take that up this weekend. But no, honestly. Yeah, we got some coming events.
So, June 26, 2025, Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's Appalachian Championship Wrestling,
Yes.
by the way. I don't know why I didn't copy the name.
Yeah, it's okay. I knew it was Appalachian.
Yeah.
June 26, 2025, Buffalo Wild Wings, Appalachian Championship Wrestling will be there, 214 Crossroad Drive, Mount Hope, West Virginia.
That is
Free
tomorrow.
show.
Free show.
Free show.
And guys, listen. Wrestling Society Networks, Wrestler of the Week, Betty D is going to be in attendance.
Yep.
She's going to have photographs, and I'm sure she's going to have bracelets there and stuff. Y'all get out, introduce yourself.
Yep. And then coming up the very following day, the Great Freedom Fest Bash. That is a combination show between All Star Wrestling West Virginia,
Yes.
Appalachian Championship Wrestling, and Power Slam Pro. That is June 27th, downtown Logan, West Virginia. It is a free event, starts at 6 p.m. Then Appalachian Championship Wrestling Cruel Summer free show, July 15th. Putnam County Fair, Putnam County Fairgrounds, Route 62 Park Road, Eleanor, West Virginia. Meet and greet 6:30, bell time at 7. Doc, take her away.
Then on July 16th at the Putnam County Fairgrounds, Appalachian Championship Wrestling showing up for one more time. That's right. There's only one way to rock. It's going to be a free show. Meet and greet at 6:30, bell time at 7. As always, with all these shows, card subject to change, guys.
And before we jump off the coming events, there are coming events for Elevate Pro Wrestling, and there are coming events for FTC's Art of Grappling.
Hopefully soon.
We will get those dates to you as soon as we can.
I am working tirelessly to get those dates lined out. Hopefully we'll hear from some people within the next 48 hours.
I know Mr. Moore is working hard behind the scenes
Man's
to
got
get
a
a few
job.
things lined out. He has a hard job.
I mean, anybody has to put up with Charlie Craig for more than 2 hours
Yeah.
ought to be granted sainthood.
The problem Mr. Moore has is it's almost like he's living next door to Charlie Craig.
These people out there can't live with him. Just saying.
I agree.
I mean, he's the only person I know that make Pet Rock mad enough to bite him.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
What I do want to also talk about, we had a great time at Hollers and Heroes Con this weekend before.
Yeah.
Awesome event. Thank you again to Earl and Time Warp for putting that one on. It has been told to me that Hollers and Heroes Con is coming back in 2026. This time it will be a two-night event, two-day event. I'm looking forward to it because as far as I know, Lord willing, creek don't rise, world don't come to a crashing end, everything works out, you know, Elevate Pro Wrestling will be there. Now, what I would actually also like to see, and I don't know what you think about it, but Elevate Pro Wrestling being there is a great thing. But do you realize how long it's been since, well, it wasn't even Cussin and Discussin the last time we done a convention as just the greatest commentary team in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
That was Bluegrass Wrestling Con 6.
Yep. I'm going to go.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking we can do that, Doc.
I think, who knows? We might just have us a Cussin and Discussin booth there as well. And you never know who we'll get.
Well, I would also go as far as to say, I don't know the logistics behind this.
Well, I don't know any dates yet. They haven't named an actual finite date.
But I would like to see, and this is just me speaking from the heart, I would like to see the Appalachian Championship Wrestling ring in the middle of that arena. And I would like to see a few non-title champion versus champion matches between Appalachian Championship Wrestling and Elevate Pro Wrestling.
You know, could be
Title's
interesting.
not on the line, but just
Bragging rights?
bragging rights.
You never know what happens. It's a long way away. I mean, at least a year. Who knows what could happen?
Might even be able to convince some people to do a little three-way action there and bring in the good folks.
You never know what happens. I mean, hey, from a commentary standpoint, I'm all ears.
Yeah. I'd love to call that
knows.
action. Love to call that action.
You know, and, you know, far as I know, you know, we are the greatest commentary team in professional wrestling. Yeah. Look no further, guys. I mean, hey, we just tell you what we see. Oh.
Anyway,
I look forward to it. I'm sorry.
I'm already
I do.
excited.
I mean, you know, they were asking, what names would you like to see? Okay, I'm going to start throwing out names now. Diamond Dallas Page being one of them I'd love to see.
Yeah.
Mainly because I've got a picture from WrestleMania 6 of the Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Jimmy Hart and Greg the Hammer Valentine all sitting on the back of a pink Cadillac.
I
And
know the picture.
in the driver's seat, making his WrestleMania debut, and a lot of people don't realize it, was Diamond Dallas Page.
Yep.
And I would love to get DDP to sign that picture for me, and hopefully that will happen in the near future. Now, there's other names that I'd love to see at Hollers and Heroes Con. Dustin Rhodes, Barry Windham, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, Barbarian's always,
Yeah.
you know, somebody that everybody likes to talk to. Love to see Ron Simmons again.
Yeah.
Baby Doll, Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue. You know, there's a lot of names out there.
Yeah.
You know, what I'd also like to see is get some of the local indie people involved
Yeah.
in this, because here's the deal, and I've said this from the Elevate Pro Wrestling standpoint, the legends are wonderful, and they're draws. You can't doubt that they're not name draws, but at some point, there is going to be a day when the legends are no longer there.
Yep.
And all you're going to have is the future that lies ahead of you. So, you know, think about some options there. You know, you've got some good up-and-coming talent, not just locally, but regionally, as well as in the National Wrestling Alliance,
Yep.
that is making a splash and doing great things with this sport. But with that being said, yes, we do got to say thank you to a couple of great people. First off, like I said, our good friends at Time Warp, Earl and the gang do a great job. I went down there Saturday to meet my friend and ended up running in the store real quick, talking to Earl, seeing what he was up to, saying hi. Great to see him. Hotter than the gates of blue blazes, but I'll tell you what, definitely worth the trip. Another thing I do want to say, our friends at the Walk-In Time. JR suffered a loss in his family here last few days, and our thoughts and prayers are with JR when he gets the store back open, I think next Monday. Everybody go out, show your support, show your love to our local businesses, a Walk-In Time. JR is a great person, great friend, and we really enjoy being around him. Another one, the Indie Wrestling Experience. These guys are phenomenal.
Yes.
They reached out to us last week to see if we wanted to come on their show.
Been a couple weeks ago they reached out.
Yeah. But I responded and told them hopefully we'll get an answer back.
Yeah.
Guys, this weekend is perfectly fine. 12 o'clock, depending, worst case scenario, we push
Well, like I said, we're going to be looking at Night of Champions probably starting around 1 or 2. We can do that anytime.
Yeah, we can make
before that,
things happen.
Anytime after that.
Yeah.
Even during, if but if you're anything like us guys, you're probably going to be watching Night of Champions.
Yeah.
So we don't want to interrupt that if that's
we're
what
gonna
you're
work
doing.
something out with you.
But we would love to work that out with you
Tell
this
you what-
weekend, next weekend, whatever the case may be.
I had something else to say and I can't think about it. God, do you love when you just lose your brain? Let me see what I'm doing here.
I've never fully lost mine.
I've lost mine more times than ever.
Relax.
Yeah, please do.
Let the doc scan his phone.
Probably ain't got enough sense to I knew where I was going with this.
You figured it out?
The nice ladies at Keeping It Real.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about people that they could talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Our dance card's open. We'd love to sit down.
Yeah.
Let us know something.
Again, it's just a logistics thing.
It is. It's always. That's time and time and time. And we need to actually start working with this a little bit and try to get some interviews ourselves. We swore we were going to do it last September,
Yeah.
and we blew that in all the pieces.
Well, I mean,
It's
again,
busy.
It's logistics.
When
It's-
you're talking
we
about
have,
work,
we have shoot jobs. We have this. We have
shows,
shows to do commentary for, and not to mention home life, family life, whatever the case may be. So I mean,
Yeah, and Doc's trying to work on one over here.
It's difficult sometimes, but
Bartender trying to sabotage me with them old fashions the
Yeah.
size of Andre the Giant old fashions out
Yeah.
there. I'm like, bring me more.
more. Anyway, and as always, a big shout out to our good friends at the Wrestling Society Network.
Yes, indeed.
We love you all. You put in so much work into this program. The website, thewrestlingsocietynetwork.com, the Facebook page, Wrestling Society Network. You can also find their app on Roku, Apple, and Amazon. Folks, please check out the Wrestling Society Network. They have put hours and hours and hours into finding, gathering, and bringing together thousands of hours of wrestling content just for us, wrestling fans.
They love us.
So,
they love you.
not to mention on the Facebook page, they've always got the Indie Wrestler of the Week, which leads to, at the end of the year, Indie Wrestler of the Year will be drawn from those folks who were honored with Indie Wrestler of the Week. And
Andy.
yeah, so it's always great to see them get a little bit of
Absolutely. They all
love.
deserve it, really.
So
I mean,
they really do. And they have so many shows available, so many podcasts, so many different things.
yes.
Hitting the Ropes with Brock's Boulder is on Wrestling Society Network. He's also working with them on their official show. Brock's, Brady, Bear,
Amy.
Amy, we love you all, and thank you for the work you do for the wrestling
Even
community.
Mike, the top 10 guy.
Yeah, Mike, the top 10 guy who
We might not always agree with, but
Yeah.
that's okay. That's
we
why
maybe don't agree with your top 10.
You got a right to put it out there, baby.
but
Go
you've
right
got
ahead.
a right, and doggone it, we'll defend that right to the death.
That's it.
And as always, big shout out to my wonderful wife, Sheena Dixon at Sheena Dixon Photography. Check her out on Facebook for all your photography needs, family reunions, graduations, birthdays, celebrations of any kind, weddings, whatever it is, she's willing to do it. And she takes wonderful photographs. She does all the photography for Elevate Pro Wrestling. And you can see some of her work on her page, Sheena Dixon Photography, as well as on Elevate Pro Wrestling.
Yes, I am working tirelessly to get those photos uploaded. I've got us through Off the Rails. Actually, you'll start seeing her work with Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get ready. Elevate Pro Wrestling. If you go into the events section, scroll down to the bottom, you click on the corresponding photograph, and it will take you right to it. Need to get with her and see what she got at Hollers and Heroes Con.
Yeah.
I think she got a couple.
She got a few.
Yeah.
And Josh Turner, I apologize. I know you've been waiting on your pictures, and it has been a bit hectic. So we will get those to you as soon as possible.
Yes, indeed.
Your pictures from, what was it, Warzone?
Warzone, yeah, where he wrestled, him and Grant Dooley wrestled Maui and Hey Hey.
Yeah, Maui and Hey Hey.
What?
Maui and Hey Hey. Oh.
I didn't breach
That-
any copyright.
No, you didn't.
That was them.
But
TKO said it was them. I believe it.
I don't doubt it. I'm just saying.
You see the hams on that young, and I wouldn't doubt it either.
Those two were so in over their head.
That'd have been ankle high water. They'd have been over their head.
Yeah. Man, those chops from TKO.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
were fantastic.
That standing 11-second vertical suplex.
Yeah.
I say that boy woke up with a headache.
I'd say that boy woke up. Yeah, a headache probably don't even begin to touch it.
Hey, Lord.
Anyway,
Dude, we have had a great time.
We
I mean,
have.
Seriously.
as bad as I hate
Oh.
to say it, Doc, I think
Why?
it's time to piss on the fire and call the dogs.
I think you are right for the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon. I am the doctor of professional wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD, saying to you, until next time, be safe out there, and so long from the Bluegrass State.